But what happens to the purchasing power of the average person? What happens to the livelihoods of the average person? What happens to the ability of the person to be able to feed and transport?
Well, should we continue to go into debt because we want to now start to give our people an artificial luxury? We were borrowing so much under General Buhari. Don't forget, the reason why Godwin Emefiele is in jail is because we took a loan of 28...
He's under trial.
Well, he's in jail. That's why I didn't say prison. There's a difference. When you're under trial, they put you in jail. When you have been convicted, you go to prison. There is a reason why Godwin Emefiele is in jail, because he took loans of 28 trillion naira without informing the National Assembly. What were they using that money to do? They were using that money to artificially inflate the value of the naira. And so we were living in a fool's paradise. Bola Tinubu has taken that away, and now we are now living at our own means. So we cannot be borrowing because we want to give our people food. We have to produce, and that's why we are now producing now. Here with me from the Debt Management Office, and Nigerians who are watching, they can actually go to dmo.gov.ng, or you can go to Google and just put Debt Management Office Nigeria State of Indebtedness 2015. As of 2015, this is a PDF document from the Debt Management Office. Nigeria was owing a total of $63 billion. That's it here. I don't know if your camera can catch it. Now, when Buhari was leaving office, this is from the Debt Management Office, this is not from me. The Debt Management Office was set up by law. We've got people who are apolitical there. They are not members of the PDP, APC, or ADC. Buhari left office, and this is how much we were owing. On the last day of Buhari leaving office, $113 billion. Now, as of today, this is from the Debt Management Office, our debt has gone from $113 billion to $97 billion, meaning that Bola Tinubu has reduced our debt by over $14 billion. We should. Now, please, allow me to land. Okay. But the major thing you want to talk about, you talked about production. We are not talking about now. When you're talking about production, in Nigeria, we have a surplus of $14.1 billion. That has never happened before. What that means is that we are now exporting more than importing. That is a major plus. Not just that, we had a 3.84 GDP growth rate last year. When did we have that? We had 2 recessions under Buhari. Have we had a recession now? And not just that, if you look at it now steadily, the inflation rate has been reducing. That's because the policies put by this administration are working.
After the rebasing.
Yeah, no, the rebasing has not happened. The rebasing is going to happen. I think the rebasing is coming up next week, they said.
But what was the inflation rate when Bola Tinubu got into office and now?
Well, the inflation rate when Bola Tinubu got into office was quite high under Buhari. I think what you're trying to talk about was the inflation rate under Jonathan, which was at single digits. So let us focus on production, because you talked about production. The best factor to gauge production is your trade surplus, because that's what is that's what.
So in your own view, you think that the economy is doing better under Bola Tinubu?
It's not on my own view. I'm talking about the facts. The facts are there. We are exporting.
Where were we pre-Bola Tinubu and now?
Yeah, pre-Bola Tinubu and now, our debts have reduced, our production has increased. The all-share index of the Nigerian Stock Exchange has hit 3 times all-time high. As a matter of fact, last year we overtook Argentina as the most profitable stock market in the whole world. Right now, we are the 2nd most profitable stock market in Africa after Zimbabwe.
What do you say to our exchange rate?
Our exchange, and see, that is the thing, that is a form of the economic illiteracy of a lot of people. Our exchange rate has never been 196 or 400 naira. At that time, our exchange rate was being subsidized. People make the mistake. They forget that the subsidy on the naira was actually higher than the subsidy on fuel. We were spending about $1 billion every month on fuel, but we were spending $1.5 billion every month to subsidize the naira. And that was what was keeping the naira at that rate. It was not the real value of the naira. When Bola Tinubu came in, he said, no, that cannot happen, because we were not using that subsidized naira to do things that were going to be valuable for the economy. Please let me land.
Mr. Omokri.
No, please let me land, please. We were using that, we were freeing it away. So he said, this is what happens in America, this is what happens in the United Kingdom. We are going to float the currency and allow the laws of demand and supply determine the naira rate. That is not devaluation, that is flotation. Devaluation is when, like what happened in Egypt, you peg your currency at, say, maybe 200 Egyptian pounds to $1. And then you come out and say, okay, no, I'm going to now peg it at 400. That is devaluation. What happened in Nigeria is flotation. And that is now, the market is now determining the